Hey guys, it's Little Soul. I recently got a few questions on the SRK forum about the Yun matchup because, I mean, if you read over there, I've been on the record saying I think this matchup is absolutely horrible now. I think it's quite possibly 7-3. You know, it's bordering that territory because it's just feeling like the matchup's gone that shitty in this version. But people in particular, you know, were asking, okay, well, why? Why do I think it's that bad? So I'm going to take a few seconds to show you some of the things that that changed quite a bit in the matchup. Now the thing is that if you recall, like a lot of people considered Yun-Akuma kind of bad in the last version. It wasn't unwinnable for Akuma, but it was kind of one of his. It was probably his most difficult matchup. I'm not going to lie. It was a matchup where Yun matched it pretty well. He could get around zoning. He could keep Akuma's bun presses to a minimum because he could always dive kick over a bun. So overall, Akuma had to play very cautious. The other thing that also made it kind of annoying was that even say if Akuma did land a sweep, and say you get a hit, you couldn't Tatsu sweep him. So basically, you basically get one mix-up. The mix-up would do quite a bit of damage, but it would probably you wouldn't be able to loop it on him. And of course, you know, stuff like this, that's unsafe as shit. So it was pretty hard to keep him in a mix-up, especially, you know, if you're coming from like after a throw or something like that. It was just not very easy. So overall, Yun kind of had an advantage in that he matched up very well with like Akuma's tools. His stun output was actually really good, even back in the last version. So like one of the things, say if he does dive kick into like his little mean punch combo, see it puts Akuma about half of his stun, where another combo, if I don't let the counter run down. So see if I hit him with another dive kick, say if I go for a mix-up afterwards, that will stun. Now, oh shit. Sorry, my execution's not... But yeah, so say like I go for another dive kick, something like that. It's possible to stun Akuma in 2 combos with Yun, just because like Akuma's low stun. That was already sort of a problem in the last version, but typically you had to get 2 really good hits with Yun. I mean, you couldn't just do something like, you know, this kind of combo and expect it to happen. And even like the grab, you know, command grabs or something like that, you had to get 2 pretty solid hits, right? You had to get like this followed by another dive kick mix-up into the same combo to stun. Or something like that. But as everyone knows, Yun basically got a buff with the universal mechanics in that his red focus is very, very good. He probably abuses it better than most of the other characters in the game. So this all of a sudden has changed a lot of things in this matchup because in other matchups, Yun typically has to burn 4 bars to do this, to put you near the brink of stun, right? So, against like a 1,000 stun character or something like that, or above average stun, right? If Yun were to do something like this, like hit you with the elbow, go into shoulder, do red focus, Yun would typically have to do a combo like this to generate enough stun. Oh my god. Yeah, like that. And see, that would generate close to 700, which that means, you know, on any other character, that's a combo away or something like that. But Yun would still need a pretty good hit. Like, he'd have to get a command grab, he'd have to get a dive kick, he'd have to get something significant. Actually, I think, yeah, he could do 300 stun. So actually, even on those characters, right? He could still get 1 hit into shoulder and it would stun. Akuma, on the other hand, because of his 850 stun, he doesn't need to do that full combo. Instead, one of the biggest problems in this matchup for Akuma is that as soon as Yun gets red focus, he can put Akuma near stun from just about any hit. And I'll show you like a couple quick combos. These may not even be optimal, keep in mind. These are just a few combos that I found within a very short amount of time of playing around with this. That basically instead of optimizing damage, so like right now, a lot of Yun players I see when they're playing this matchup, they'll try to go for max damage or something like that. So say like they'll do that into Ultra, they'll do this into like a couple of hits or something, you know, something like that, right? They'll go for maximized damage. But against Akuma, what you actually probably want to do is you want to maximize stun instead. So say if we look at, you know, this is like a max damage combo or something like that. It does about 355, decent amount of stun. But one of the things is you can sacrifice just a tiny bit of damage to do more stun. So for instance, here's just one quick combo. And this will work from mid-screen. Like, you know, drag them all the way to the corner. You could do this, heavy shoulder, medium lunge. Drags them all the way to the corner, does quite a bit of stun. And actually, if you're close enough to the corner, where this is the main one right there that I've discovered. If you look at it, it does exactly 570 stun. Now, the reason this number is important is that actually, if you look at it, Yun's far medium punch, so this bun into shoulder, does 280. If you do the math, that's exactly 850 stun. If you do that combo I just showed you into the shoulder, into this in the follow-up. So what does that mean? That means any hit off of a medium punch or medium kick or anything like that could potentially lead into a stun. And that also includes things like command grab, dive kick, anything like that. So say if Yun gets one random hit off of an elbow, right? And he does this. Literally the next mix-up will stun Akuma, almost guaranteed. And then he can do like a little jumping combo to Ultra. And this is using W Ultra, keep in mind. Because like I wanted to have both Ultras for this demonstration. But even that still does close to 80%. In some cases, you can actually, depending on how the hits line up, or, you know, how many hits it took, you can actually drain 100% of Akuma's health with this. So basically, any random hit that goes into red focus can generate enough stun on Akuma that the following mix-up will stun, guaranteed. I mean, like, even if you look at it like this, right? Say if I do the weakest hit afterwards, right? So 570 or something like, oh shit, sorry. I got caught in between two combos. So say if I just do the easiest hit confirm, I know. It still stuns. Now, the damage afterwards is going to be shit because you just did so many hits. But the idea is that you still stun. Okay? And, like, even then, it still does close to, like, what is it, 75%? So, one of the things that this does is that it makes it so if Yun gets any sort of hit with 3 bars, he can basically take Akuma from, like, full to nothing within a very short amount of time. And the thing is like half these combos have insane corner carry. Say if I mid-screen, like I get a dive kick, right? Look at that, I just took him all the way to the corner, 570 stun. That's the magic number. 570 means every hit should stun. And you can see that already, you know, Yun just stunned Akuma, took him from this spot on the screen. This is exactly mid-screen. Actually, beyond it. Like, see, we're beyond the red line in the training mode. Oops, shit. See, that wasn't even perfect, right? So I got 560, but 560 is still enough. Because say if we do, let's do that again. 560 means dive kick into some combo will stun. 560 means hitting with a command grab will stun. And even like you might be able to do something like this, right? Yep, and that's stun. So literally every single combo afterwards, or any single hit, will practically lead to stun and possibly kill Akuma from full health. And that's one of the biggest problems I find with this new matchup. It's just the fact that a 3-bar Yun is now capable of fully taking Akuma all the way down. without even burning Ultra until after the stun. And then you factor in like a few of the other things that have changed. One of the biggest ones being Akuma's DP, which was probably one of his best counters. If Yun gets a dive kick, right, you might want to try to challenge it. Well, now that you have to FADC the DP on the first hit, you don't have time to confirm that the DP hit. The reason this was important is that if you guessed correctly and Yun got DP'd, you didn't have to burn the meter, so that means you still had the threat for next time, right? It's not like you got much off of it anyways if you did burn the meter, you know, something like that. It was barely anything, you know. But if you... Now you have to pretty well burn it on the first hit. But the other thing is also because of the DP nerf, right? So like they made it so DPs are all negative on block, on forward dash and backdash and other things like that. Yun actually with Ultra 2, well actually here, I'll show you first. Regardless if he's got Ultra or not, he can punish the backdash. Lunge punch, light lunge punch will punish it pretty consistently. I think even if you try to get this spaced out a little further back. Yeah, so maybe there's a safe spacing, but like typically you're gonna want to DP if Yun hits a dive kick or something like that because you want to challenge it. But light lunge punch will punish it pretty consistently. The other thing is if Yun's rocking Ultra 2, this now punishes. And some Yun players might actually want to use Ultra 2 in this matchup because it actually gives them a pretty good tool against fireballs and a lot of other things that Akuma can do. So that's an option. And of course on forward dash now, it's also unsafe. So in that situation, Yun can pretty much just... If you get the timing right. I mean, hell, he can just do that if he just wants to be lazy. Yeah, something like that. So, again, you got punished for trying to DP him. And say the third option, right? Let's say if Akuma tries to... shit, I did red focus. Something like that, right? Well, you know what still punishes that? This. And I think like even if you do... Yeah, so it beat lunge punch. But the idea is that there's still a way you can beat it. And in particular, this is an Ultra. So if Yun calls you out on that, you're losing 80... You know... at least half your life as Akuma, because this is, it does 340 with the W Ultra, so that's what, 60%, 75%? It's 75% reduction with Yun. So yeah, the full thing is probably going to do something like 450, something like that. I don't know what his Ultra 2 does, because no one ever uses it. But again, that's a shit ton of damage for trying to challenge Yun. And so it leaves this situation where now, of course, your defense got worse because if you're trying to get Yun off of you, you know, your DP now becomes risky. The one nice thing is that at least you can try to, you know, throw in a sense, bet everything on red, right? So if, what I mean by this is that the one nice thing about the red focus buff, and this is probably the only use I've really found so far with Akuma, is that the first hit of the DP combos off of red focus. So if you want to just bet everything and hope to get an Ultra, okay, so now you've at least got something, but you have to commit to those 3 bars, right? You don't have the option to wait and confirm it. So like basically you're betting a ton of meter that he's going to hit a bunt. Is it the worst thing ever? No, but at the same time, it's like compared to the situation in the last game, it's worse. Because now the risk and reward is much, much higher for both characters. And typically in a situation where Akuma already had a pretty big risk trying to DP Yun, it's still pretty big. The only really nice buff that really helps in this matchup is the Far Fierce one. Mostly because it actually allows, if you anti-air Yun with it or something like that, you can buffer into Fireball, and like it gets you a little space. The problem is though, it's not really consistent enough. I think you also have that issue where like from certain distances it can whiff. So it does give you a nice tool, but I think overall, compared to the fact that Yun has basically the potential to touch a death you from almost anywhere on the screen. See, I'm sure like Yun mains could probably find way more efficient combos or something like that. And that, like, see, and that also doesn't even take into the account that he's still got this combo that puts other characters near touch of death, right? Where on Akuma, that's basically enough where I think you can hit a crouching medium kick afterwards, and it'll stun. Yeah, so you need a little more than that. But still, it's one of those things where the stun output is absurd with Yun. And against Akuma, he doesn't even need to optimize for damage necessarily. He just needs to optimize for stun. Because if you just do enough stun, see, 610. So any combo will stun at that point. And when you combine that with the fact that I think Akuma already had trouble, also Yun's, that got better. You know, all the other things that went well for Yun, I think overall Akuma's tools against Yun have gotten worse. Yun's tools against Akuma have gotten way, way better. I think I can't really say that this is a really good matchup. This matchup kind of sucks now. And of course, the other thing is that sweep's now completely punishable. So, say if a Yun player predicts that you're going to throw it out, you know, he doesn't even need to take to the air. So, but overall, I don't think this is a good matchup. Like, it's a really bad matchup. I don't think it's good. I don't even like playing this against like mediocre Yuns that I've played in person or online or something like that. Just because the minute Yun gets a hit, you are now one hit away from the round ending, basically. And so I think that's why this matchup is kind of bad now. See, and like I said, Yun mains could probably find more optimal stuff for this. Like, if you optimize for damage and you know all like the little combos and everything, I'm sorry, optimize for stun, not damage, you can probably find a ton of different ways. And actually, one of the things I was screwing around with was that, you know, say if Yun's in the corner, right? He gets a hit. There's stuff like this, where you now have actually completely turned it around. You've thrown Akuma back in the corner. So it's, I don't know. I just don't like it. I really do not like this matchup anymore. But those are some of my quick thoughts. I mean, I could do an extensive breakdown of like all the different tools and all the different buttons and things like that. But I don't really see a situation. Oh, the other thing is of course, delayed wake up makes mixing up Yun even harder now. So the one situation where you did kind of have an advantage is not really an advantage anymore. So, at any rate, I think that's enough rambling from me. So, but those are my thoughts. You guys are welcome to come up with your own. But in my opinion, I think this matchup is 7-3 right now. I think Yun is just too good against Akuma. So, at any rate, this is Loyal Soul. I'll be logging out.